Hey Punk Outlaw, it's Buddhagem, and this is Buddhagem is Crazy, just for you. Look, my critiques of capitalism are exactly what I say they are. That is, existing free market capitalism as it exists in the real world, practiced by real world capitalists, the capitalism that they have developed with all the state protections and subsidies that you would disagree with. So it is not, by extension, a critique of your beliefs or your ideal capitalism. It is not a critique of Adam Smith's ideal capitalism. It is a critique of existing formations of capital, and nothing more than that. So hopefully that's clear. Now, some of the things you said, part of the problem is society. Now, I'm not trying to say that society has no role in this. I'm all for personal responsibility. But I think where we disagree is you seem to think that it is an inherent problem of society that take away all forms of manipulation and whatnot, and power and control, and that these people would just be just as stupid and ignorant as they are today. I would disagree with that. I think it's a fabricated problem. I don't think it's any mistake. I don't think it's any inherent flaw in human nature. And I'll try to give you a brief outline of why, with just a couple examples. One book I'd highly recommend, well, two actually, Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky, or Trust Us, We're the Experts, and Straubauer is one of the authors. It's two authors for that book. Anyway, as a kid, I grew up. We were taught that there were 4 food groups. One of them was dairy, and you had to have so much dairy every day in order to have a balanced diet. Well, it turns out, all these years later, I found out the dairy industry paid for all of that, all the fancy posters in the classrooms and the pamphlets and the books that we got, all paid for by the dairy industry. Now, how is society, your mom and dad, they're busy doing, providing for you. You go to school to learn, and of course this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're constantly filled with bullshit at school, but you go in as a little kid, and your teacher, who you think's a very smart person, presents you with this very slick advertising that you don't know it. You think you're learning about, how to eat a better diet, right? Isn't it unfair to, this is just one example, but, at whatever, 8 years old, I'm supposed to say, go to the library or something and figure out who paid for this and figure all this out at 8 years old. Think of how many things like that happen to us, that at a time, especially when we're very young, where we don't have any kind of rational capabilities, any kind of logical thinking. When you're a little kid and someone dies on television, you think it's real. You don't have any perception of, fake and not fake, and child psychologists understand this, and these corporations hire child psychologists to learn how to better manipulate kids so the kids will nag their parents to buy certain goods. When I tell you that they're spending $600-700 billion a year on advertising alone, that doesn't count all the public relations industry money that goes into other forms of manipulation. No Logo's another great book. These people, they are just bombarding us on a daily basis. It's, and just as when you say, oh, advertising doesn't work on me and you, I disagree with that. It does work on us, brother. It works on me and it works on you. It works on everybody you know. Whether you're buying the $600 jeans and the $500 handbags or whatever you're buying, it works to some degree. Maybe it doesn't work as good on you as it does your neighbor, but it does work. It's very hard to get away from it. I don't watch television, but that doesn't save me from advertising everywhere I go. And it's not just billboards and signs. It's people. Think about it. I walk through a crowd in Manhattan. I'm walking through walking billboards all the time. We brand ourselves. DKNY, Liz Claiborne, Calvin Klein. It's everywhere, And you see that, Those are the cool people. And they've got cool clothes. In order for me to be cool and be accepted by them, I need to have those things. It's a very powerful force. And I'm not trying to absolve people of their personal responsibility. But at the same time, we can't ignore the very real fact that, one, they are using our airwaves to manipulate us, lie to us, and exploit us. Okay, that's a serious problem. And what I'm saying is we need to take back our airwaves, for one. Our airwaves, the broadcast airwaves, radio and TV, they're owned by the American public. They should be operated in a way that help inform us rather than lie to us, misinform us. Look at TV programming, for one. It wasn't that long ago, I remember, if someone was drinking a soda, it was just some, obscure can. You didn't know what they were drinking. There was no brands. Now look at it. The guy opens up the iMac, the smart scientist, or, they open up the fridge and there's a nice can of Coke. And if you read the literature, the product placement now is superseding the storyline. That is, storylines are built around products rather than this, he just happens to be drinking a soda, we'll put a Coke in his hand. It's not like that anymore. And writers have been, criticizing this. The product placement is more central to the story than, whatever else is going on. So this stuff's going on at so many different levels, is what I'm trying to get at. That to ignore it or deny it or pretend like it doesn't work on me, it's just those other ignorant, stupid masses. It does work. So I'm gonna make some more videos on this because it's something I'm really passionate about. But let me get on to wealth being finite or not. I have a real problem with this because the idea that wealth is not finite. I mean, that's because we live in this where wealth has been abstracted, right? Bill Gates apparently is worth, I don't know, whatever he's worth, 60 billion, 50 billion. It's complete bullshit. It's because the wealth has been abstracted. It's like saying Bill Gates grew 80 billion more potatoes than the next farmer. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's because it's an abstraction. In reality, no such thing exists. But when you say, like, oh, I take this product that was made by so-and-so and I turn it into something else, and you go, oh, well, I'm not using any more resources. Well, I don't know. I mean, you just made something up, but chances are you are using more resources. You're using more energy to turn product A into product B. Maybe, I don't know what you're talking about, but you're heating something up, you're welding it, you're bending it. It's going to take something. It doesn't just magically transform itself. So it does take more stuff to transform that. It takes a lot of energy to recycle aluminum cans. Maybe we're not wasting any more resources as far as, whatever goes into the cans, but it takes a lot of energy to melt all that down and, redo it. So that's my long-winded way of saying wealth is finite. This is a finite planet. There's only so much stuff. There's only so many resources. We're reaching the peak in oil production. We have no answer to it. And wealth, there's only how many sources of wealth are there? There's labor, there's land, and there's the natural resources, right? All of those things are finite. Those are the sources of wealth, so boy, 10 minutes goes quick, doesn't it? I really wanted to give you more examples of advertising. I'm gonna have to do a video on that because it's really important. So peace, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.